Kentucky need to revamp its entire roster after going 4-8 and failing to live up to expectations in 2024. That's true. It's also true that True Edwards is the newest wide receiver coming on in from Louisiana Tech and might be the truth for Big Blue Nation. Try saying that like 5 times fast. Let's go ahead and grade the move. Welcome on into SEC Unfiltered. It's Cole Thompson here. And today we talk about the Bulldog becoming a Wildcat from Conference USA. Real quickly, make sure that you like the video, hit the ring notification, and subscribe to the channel because we talk college football every single day. Download the podcast version of the show, wherever you get your podcast listening systems. Follow us on the socials. Link is in the description. Follow me at Mr. Cole Thompson. That way the back and forth banner can continue, and check out all of our great work found at secunfiltered.com. This episode is brought to you by our friends over at GameTime. Download the GameTime app and use the promo code SECU for $20 off your first purchase. College basketball is right around the corner. College baseball is on the horizon. You got the NHL, you got the NBA. MLB is about to be in swing. And you also can go use GameTime for concerts, for comedy shows. So stop wasting money. Stop wasting your time. Go to GameTime, the #1 ticketing app, and use promo code SECU for $20 off your first purchase. So True Edwards was a guy that actually probably was not going to get an opportunity to play one more season. Had a phenomenal last year out in Ruston, Louisiana, over 900 receiving yards, nearly 1,000, 6 touchdowns, 11.6 yards per catch. But he was a transfer from the junior college level. Started off at Navarro Junior College. However, much like when Diego Pavia got that extra year of eligibility, so did a guy like Edwards. And he was highly sought after. USC went after him. Texas A&M went after him. Florida State went after him. Washington went after him. Mississippi State, Arizona State, Virginia Tech, South Carolina. They all tried to go ahead and at least bring him on in for a visit. He's a 7th-year senior. He is as proven as possible. And Kentucky landed him. Kentucky now has revamped its entire wide receiver room overnight with Troy Stellato, with Kendrick Law, with J.J. Hester. And now they bring in yet another veteran to pair along for Cutter Boley or Zach Calzada, the former Texas A&M, Auburn, and Incarnate Word transfer. So they're bringing in veteranship. Already good on paper. Whatever you have in veteran wide receiver play is a win 10 times out of 10. Number 2, he also comes from a football background. He is the son of 1998 former Bolitnikov Award winner Troy Edwards, who had over 166 career receptions during his junior college group of 5 level. He is somebody that can come on in and be a difference maker in the slot. He's got good catch radius, a pretty good size, 6'3", 204 pounds, big bodied receiver, not afraid to go get physical. If anything, it is a depth game. You feel good about what you have for your young quarterback or veteran quarterback learning Bush Hayden's system and saying, you can go ahead and work with whatever you see fit. Everyone is going to have an opportunity to get to see playing time. No more Barian Brown. No more Dane Key. Multiple other receivers have entered the portal. You just lost Jordan Dingle, the tight end, to South Carolina. So somebody's got to step on up. What you're doing is you're replacing quality with quantity. And sometimes that feels like a losing formula, but 9 times out of 10, it actually is a win because you're going to see someone break on out. Somebody is going to have to take on the mantle about being that next big time playmaker. Is it Stellato? Is it going to be Kendrick Law? Is it going to be J.J. Hester, who really did only one thing during his tenure at Oklahoma? Or is it going to be Edwards? Big bodied, moved into the slot during his final year at Louisiana Tech in a spread formation, didn't have as many drops. Also, for 16 missed tackles, was able to turn short passes into pretty intermediate gains, had multiple games where he finished with over 100 receiving yards, including one against NC State. That might be enough to where you say, he is our number 1, or he's our number 2, or he's our number 3, or we have a specific role for him to where we only line him up inside of the slot on 3rd down, and he is giving us position flexibility. Like, that might be it. But it's something that you can't replace. Quality depth, proven experience. So let's go ahead and grade the move. As you guys know at this point, elite, all league, winnable plus, winnable minus. It's very hard to get elite. It's very hard to get all league. Winnable plus fits a criteria for certain players that I've seen a little bit more from. I'm going to go winnable minus for a guy in True Edwards. That's not an insult. He may end up being the best wide receiver of the class. He may end up being a household name out in Lexington. He may be one of the more slept on playmakers. And he can have over 1,000 yards next season. He could be the reason why we're talking about Cutter Boley and Mark Stoops and Big Blue Nation returning back to its football lore. He could. He also could be a solid depth piece that works inside the red zone, that is a veteran talent that betters your roster because if you're allowing your young players to not have to break out immediately, he is somebody that can do damage in the short to intermediate game. He can be an experienced player that only elevates your roster, and he's somebody that you can trust. You have to get a big time grab. That's him. He may only play 25 reps per game. He may play 45 reps per game, which is why I think he's a winnable minus. You look at Kendrick Law. That should be your go-to number one. You look at a guy like Troy Stellato. You hope that after what he did in 2023, that version will translate to Lexington in 2025. And you think that a guy like J.J. Hester can be your vertical pass catcher. Maybe a guy like True Edwards comes on in and is simply just chain mover on third down. But that might be enough for you just to get back to relevancy. You want to be a team that every few years is talked about. Kentucky right now is at a low. It is at a low. There is probably only one team currently in the SEC that feels as low as Kentucky. And it's not Mississippi State. It's probably Arkansas. Because Arkansas, you don't know what the future holds. You don't know how much longer you're going to be holding out that Sam Pittman is either fired or that the change is inevitable. Kentucky is in that same position. You just want to get to 8-4. You want to get back to that 9-3, getting a few upsets. And you showed this year that there was enough gusto on the roster. You didn't have the quarterback play consistently. You didn't have the offensive line consistently. And you revamped your entire defense by going into the portal and bringing in some really good guys, like an FCS All-American and McKees Grace. You want to be back to being a team that is playing 4 quarters of complimentary football. If you do that at Kroger Field, if you do that in Lexington, there's always a chance for upsets against really anybody. Auburn, you can throw in Mississippi State, you can throw in South Carolina, any one of those teams. A guy like True Edwards, Kendrick Law, J.J. Hester, veteran quarterback play to at least be a backup or compete with Cutter Boley and Zach Calzada, taking that next step forward to elevate your team, it's a win. True Edwards is a winnable minus player, but that doesn't mean that he will be a winnable minus long-term option. But let me know in the comment section down below. True Edwards, coming to Lexington. What do you think of the move? Like, review, hit subscribe, follow us on the social channels, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at SEC Unfiltered. Download the podcast version of the show wherever you get your podcast listening systems. Follow me at Mr. Cole Thompson. And check out all of our great work found at SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, folks, I am Cole Thompson. Wildcats, you got yourself a wide receiver. Who is he? Who's to say? Peace.